Hi folks, this is Jay. We are visiting a very special open garden. It's a new addition to the tour of the open gardens. It's the Forman Mansion on Oakland Place in the city of Buffalo. We're with the gardener and also the owner, Stephen here. Say a quick hi.
Hello everyone.
Yeah, can we join you for a walk in your garden?
Of course, absolutely.
Okay, I'll follow you.
So you enter the garden through the garden gate, and one of the features that I like, Jay, is this Chinese redbud. This is an actual species from the original garden from 1928. We call her Ruby.
Ruby, yes.
And we feed her and we tie her up because we don't want her to fall down. So she's very special to this garden and to Ellen Biddle Shipman, who designed this garden for Mrs. Georgia Forman.
I see. And I particularly like this tree because they provide movement in the garden. Once we have a breeze, they move gently and also very gracefully.
That is correct.
Make the entrance of the garden so welcoming.
Right. So then we have individual beds here. This is done by design also. So we can have a whole plethora of plants here. And you can see some lavender, lantana, yarrow, some beautiful rose bushes right now.
Yeah. I see you have some of the phlox as well.
They're beautiful.
Hydrangea, yeah, and they provide fragrance too.
They do. That's what everybody says when they come in the garden. Oh, it smells so good in here.
Yeah, and I see you have this red, pink, blue, purple, and white color palette here.
Right.
This is a stunning combination.
Well, that's what we wanted to achieve. We wanted it not to be garish and harsh, and we wanted to look as natural as possible because that's what the original intent was.
So how would you describe the style of your garden?
The style is definitely English, and it is relaxed. It's not formal. So you see things like lavender and Russian sage that kind of just grow wild, and they give the sense of out into a bucolic field, if you will.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. But you also have color. The color here is just amazing.
Yes. Yeah. And we try to have different colors come out at different times of the season. So we'll have something early, mid, and late, spring, summer, and fall.
Yeah. So even though you mentioned this is an English style garden, but you do have very strong structure in it,
yes,
which are provided by the hardscaping, by the walkway, and also the overall shape of the bed. So even though things can go very freely, but they are always contained. So there's a sense of balance and order.
That is correct, because if you stand on the terrace and you look out, you see balance and order, but a little bit of wild, and then out into the foreground and into the background.
Yeah. So this is just like a extremely good party. It's controlled chaos.
That's a very good word. It is controlled chaos.
So you have such a great selection of perennial and also flowering shrub. This is a hardy hibiscus.
Correct.
With the marrow in the pink flower, with the Russian sage in the back. You have some of the Japanese anemone and the yarrow. Yeah, this is, I would call this as a mixed border. You have different things. You also have the tropical plant, the mandevilla, in the urn, which just, it's one plant, but when they age, they provide different shades of pink. This is just lovely. Yeah. I follow you. Yeah.
So now we're going to go out into the wider garden area. We have a stone path that guides a visitor and us around the garden, and we have different scenes. Here's a little bit more of a formal view. This is, with some inkberry and boxwoods and pygmy azaleas.
Oh yeah, I was going to say they look like azalea.
They are.
But you clip them into this more rounded shape, so they become part of the hedge. And they do flower in spring.
Oh, they're beautiful. They are mostly pinks and lavender.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Still, it's part of your color palette.
It
Pink
is.
And purple.
We don't steer too far off from that. Maybe with the roses we do. Here's another unusual species. It's called a pawpaw. Usually seen in southern areas of the United States, but they do grow well here, and they're fruit bearing.
Oh, yeah. This is lovely. Yeah. So this is another very special tree.
It is. This is an original tree. Jay, this is a Japanese katsura, and Mrs. Forman, who built this house, was very much influenced by the Asian architecture of plants, trees, and shrubbery. So she wanted to incorporate that in this garden.
Yeah, look at the trunk. So even in the winter, we don't have the leaf. The structure of the trunk just provides so much interest. Yeah, it's just so lovely. So this is another area behind the garage.
Yes.
You have the roses, and what is the yellow flower here?
That's a good question. It's St. John's wort, and its real name is, oh my gosh, and I forgot.
I mean,
But it is St. John's wort.
yeah, I mean, it's impossible to remember all the Latin name. Yeah, but this is quite different than other St. John's worts I have seen.
Usually they're more low, and you'll see the lower ones over here. This must be some kind of a hybrid.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah, and I say they do have those kind of flower, and they turn into the very unique looking berry.
yes, yes. And now we have some roses, and we're having trouble with Japanese beetles this year.
They are particularly bad this year. Everyone is struggling.
That is true. But now you can see over here, if you look, Jay, these are the more lower ground cover St. John's wort. Same beautiful yellow flower, but you know, closer to the ground, and they eventually will fill in this whole area.
Yeah, one thing I will mention is we're working on this walkway, which has the gravel, and I really do enjoy walking on gravel paths in the garden because they have this softness, and they have this kind of movement, and they have the sound. It's really just to bring you a multi-dimension of sensory enjoyment.
It does.
This look like a summer sweet.
They are. They're clethra, summer sweet. And they're doing very well this year.
Yes.
I had a hard time with them originally, but they're really coming into their own right now.
So do they naturally stay in this slender, taller form, or you did some pruning to trim?
These are just their natural form right now. They will get out of control, and you can prune them. I'm just a little averse to pruning right now because I want them to. Yes, I want them to take hold.
So I know some variety of the clethra, the summer sweet. They're extremely fragrant. So how is our experience with yours?
They are very nice. Now, in another couple of weeks and in through August, they will come out and they will have a beautiful white flower, and they will be very fragrant. As you walk through here, you will get a nose full, if you will.
And I know the pollinators, bees, particularly loved clethra when they're in full bloom. So this is an important point. So you want something bloom later in season to provide nectar source for the pollinators. So the clethra would be a good option. And also sedum, the autumn joy, sedum, they flower pretty late in the season. So they provide nectar, which is quite essential for the pollinator later in season.
That is correct.
So this is like a woodland garden area.
Yes.
You have some shade-loving plants.
And you can see a lot of astilbe and goat's beard.
And you have rhododendron in the back.
Yes.
So, I mean, this looks like a very shaded area, so they don't receive a whole lot of sun at all.
They don't. No, you're correct.
But they're quite happy here. Yeah, because I know the rhododendron, it's not an easy plant for our climate. Our winter is just a little bit too harsh for them.
Right.
And they're considered as broadleaf evergreen, which needs some protection from the wind, especially in the winter. Yeah, but they provide this kind of green screen in front of the fence. Yeah, and they get flower.
Oh, they get beautiful. This is a wash of purple.
Yeah. Oh,
in the
I see you
spring.
have such a span of the
Yes.
rhododendrons.
And we try to fill them in. We have a big giant hemlock tree, a couple of them actually. And they do provide the shade for these type of plants.
Yeah. I see you have another patio set here. This is where you mentioned has the best view of the garden.
It does. You know, you really get a good view of the property and the house, which is very important.
Oh, exactly. I always tell people the garden has to serve the structure. And you have this amazing building structure here. Then you did the design of follow the design of the garden, which just to complement the structure. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the designer of the garden from many, many years ago.
Ellen Biddle Shipman was the preeminent female landscape architect of her time in the early 20th century up until the 40s. She did many estates in Buffalo and up and down the eastern coast. And she's well known. Her works are documented at Cornell University. And Mrs. Forman knew about her from reading about her because she just wanted something that was unique and done by a woman, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that's a good point.
This was, remember, this was the time when, you know, women were getting the right to vote. Mrs. Forman stepped out on her own and divorced her husband, and it was hard for a society woman to do that.
Yeah. Well, so this is, I mean, your property, your garden is not only a piece of history. How it become to be is another aspect of the history. It's so important to have them preserved, and you're doing a wonderful job.
Oh, thank you. We do try.
So the other thing I want to show you is this amazing, amazing yew. So when we talk about yew, you think about the little shrub in a hedge. You put it right in front of the house. But this is something quite special, quite different. I have to really walk away from the yew because this is a magnificent, magnificent specimen tree. Yeah, look at the size. So this will be another original?
Yes, this was part of the original plan from 1928, and you can see people normally see this kind of a species as in a bush.
Yes, more shrub.
More of a shrub, and this is, well, it's magnificent.
Yes, look at the branching structure, but this does take a lot of effort on the prunings.
It does. You have to be very selective on what you do. You can see it's being pruned a lot. We haven't pruned it this year because it didn't need it, frankly.
Yes, and this is a very long-lasting tree. If you treat it well, it will be really, really rewarding, and it has become a treasure in your garden. Yeah.
We think it is. It's one of the crowns of the jewels in the crown of this garden, if you will.
Yes, I agree. This is just stunning. Yeah, I was just visiting in the UK. We went to the Kew Garden, the Royal Botanical Garden. They have some really, really nice specimen tree from 150 years ago. They take so well of they take care of the tree, and the result is just stunning. I would say this yew in the same category of the tree they preserve in the Kew Garden. Yeah. Because this is not something you can have in a generation. This is the result of efforts of garden lover, tree lover from multiple generations. And you have this kind of continuation. So that's why we can be the witness of such beauty here.
And we do try to take care of her. You know, she's weathered a lot of storms in her life.
Do you have a name for this tree? Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. We may call her Tilly. I don't know. Tilly taxus.
Oh, wow. I love the name. Yeah. This is just stunning. So now we are walking towards the patio area behind the house. So let's take a look from this side. We're having a breeze here. So you see the mandevilla, the Russian sage, they all move gently with the wind, provide the movement in the garden, which just brings so much extra charm. Yeah. So, Stephen, how long have you been here?
We purchased the property in March of 2019.
So it's only about 3 years.
4 years and a
4
few
years.
months.
Yes, you did such an amazing job. This is just incredible.
Well, we love the property, and we believe in being good stewards. On to the next generation.
You definitely are. Yeah. This is amazing. And thank you for joining the Open Garden program.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, this is quite a unique facet of all the garden in Buffalo area. Yeah, it's really hard to use 1 or 2 words to describe your garden because there are so many things. You have the architecture, you have the story behind how the garden came to be, and you have the trees, you have the perennial, the mixed border, the English style garden. Yeah, this is just stunning. Yeah. So Steve, thank you again for sharing your garden with us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.